Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to Yakin that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the yahawah, bracha the yahawashi, bahasham, quadash, bracha atham. So, take a look at a few articles here, and just going to get right into it, as you know that daily motion may be our permanent setting, so just kind of getting used to the idea that 2 hours upload, re-upload is all that you can do, and sometimes it even messes with you on that too. So, you know, it's not as good as YouTube once was, but you know, you have no choice. The famine of the word is here. You know that as of December 10th. So I'm just going to read this article here. Syrian government forces seize back major hydroelectric power plant east of Aleppo. And as you also know, I won't have this platform much longer either. In fact, next week I'm going to have to, disable this computer desk and everything, so I won't even have this. So I'll be reading articles and other stuff using the phone technology. Won't be as clear as this, but, you know, lots of brothers do it, so I know that it works. Syrian government troops have managed to wrest control over a major hydroelectric power plant in the country's northwestern province of Aleppo as they continue to score territorial gains in battles against foreign-sponsored Takfiri terrorists, aka Gomer and all his bands. The Arabic news service of Russia's Sputnik news agency reported that the Syrian Arab Army forces seized back Chishrin power plant located 90 kilometers east of the province capital city of Aleppo on Monday. The report added that the Russian military forces will soon start patrols near the strategic facility, which has an electricity generating capacity of approximately 630 megawatts. Syrian government troops had earlier taken control of Tabqa Dam and Al Tahra Dam, located 40 kilometers upstream from the city of Rawcha. Before the war, Syria used to supply electricity to neighboring countries such as Jordan and Lebanon. Dr. Ali Al-Ahmad, a member of the Syrian Geopolitical Research Academy, said. So, anyhow, what's happened, though, is that you won't hear about this in the headlines because, of course, it's all being drowned out by the supposable impeachment hearings, right? Or just other garbage, just garbage. Promoting LGBTQ crap, You're seeing that everywhere, and then these just stupid fucking goddamn wicked festivities that these Edomites celebrate, You're fucking bombarded with that. Nonetheless, though, this is what's going on here. Taking advantage of the screencast while I still have it. Russia slams U.S. backing for Israeli state settlements as new dangerous escalation. Reuters reports that Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday condemned the U.S. move to reverse decades-long official policy which viewed Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank as illegal. The Trump administration has reversed the Obama administration approach towards Israeli settlements. U.S. public statements on settlement activities in the West Bank have been inconsistent over decades, Secretary of State Pompous announced Monday, effectively overturning the State Department's 41-year-old legal opinion that Israelis' West Bank settlements are illegal. Well, see, that's just it, though. They may have said that they opposed it, but they never did anything about it, Russia condemned the drastic policy reversal as a severe blow to the peace process, saying, "We consider this Washington's decision as another step aimed at running an international legal basis of the Middle East settlement that will exacerbate tensions in the Palestinian-Israeli relations," according to the Foreign Ministry's statement. So you just, like I said, they've done that too. But wait, Russia ain't the only one that's stated it. Which this explains as to why the recent attacks in Syria, from the Golan Heights. Syria condemns U.S. position on Zionist settlements in occupied Palestinian territories. Syria vehemently condemned as has no legal impact the U.S. attitude toward the Zionist settlements in occupied Palestinian territories. You notice, though, that in Syria, they pretty much Zionist and Amalek mean almost the same thing, and they do not hesitate to put it as such. While Russia might be a little more polite, when they verbally condemn something, but hey, straight up in Syria, though, you're a goddamn Zionist, aka Amalekite. Syria strongly condemns the U.S. position toward the Zionist settlements in Palestinian occupied lands, which forms a blatant violation of international law and UN resolutions on the legal status of the occupied territories. An official source at Foreign and Expertise Ministry said in a statement to Syrian Arab News Agency on Tuesday. The source added that the position that forms the most recent series in the U.S. contempt for the international legitimacy and continually of the U.S. aggression on the Arab nation and the unlimited support provided by the United States to the expansionist Zionist entity. And also, don't forget, Persia also calls them the Zionist entity, aka Amalek. They don't recognize them as the Jews because they know that they're not the Jews. They're not the real Jews. We are. Negroes. And, of course, what we also know, as all of us are, we're Israelite foreigners. That's who we are. Despite what we look like. We're all Israelite foreigners. Even if we don't come from what they like to call Negro tribes, we come from other tribes, but you have Israelite foreigners that come straight out of those three, Levi, Benjamin, and yahawah, and that's just it, though, is they know who the real Jews are, and they don't even call them Jews, they call them Zionists, which is another key word for Amalekites. Syria confirms, according to the source, that the U.S. position is void and has no legal impact as it is for Washington's attitude towards Al-Quds and Jerusalem and the occupied Syrian Golan. Oh yeah, that's another thing about Palestine, and particularly the Palestinians, aka Ishmaelites that are trapped over there, and their connection to Syria. I've seen Palestinians make videos saying that, hey, your government lied to you. You are the real Jews. We pray that you come and take the land. And come back, basically they're praying for us to come back to power because they would rather be in captivity underneath us. And they will get a boot to their ass for being partakers in this. They already regret any deals that they had made with the Edomites. The source concluded by saying that the position shows once again depth of the gap which separates the United States from the international community due to its full policies which are controlled by a mentality of hegemony and arrogance. Don't we always talk about the hegemony of the United States? But their hegemony is, and they probably pronounce it differently. I just pronounce it the way that Apostle Tahar does, because, I follow in his footsteps, as we all should be following in his footsteps, because, and if it wasn't for those elders and apostles of Great Millstone, starting with Apostle Tahar, none of us would even have this information. December 10 would have come and say that I didn't get this information by December 10, 2019. How much more in trouble would I have been? No, man, the reason why we went out to the four quarters of the earth and everything was so people could come in, that is, the true people would come in, and this prophecy has already been fulfilled, as you've seen the other ones starting to come in, the angels that hold back the terror from the river Euphrates. You're hearing about the river Euphrates all the time. That's where Gomer and all his bands are. All right, going to look at something else that happened, because Damascus was struck by Israeli state again. And this one's more of a reading thing. I can read it, since I have the audio on. Early on November 19th, Syrian state media reported several explosions at the airport of the capital of Damascus. No further details were provided. However, local sources immediately claimed that the explosions were caused by a supposed Israeli strike. Pro-Israeli sources claim that at least 5 Israeli missiles were launched at targets in southern Damascus. According to this version, at least 2 missiles were intercepted. At the same time, the Israeli Defense Forces claimed that the Iron Dome had intercepted 4 rockets launched from Syria over the Golan Heights. No casualties were reported. It's expected that the Israeli military will carry out more aggressive actions against Syria, using the Golan Heights as a pretext for this move. And that's just it. These things will escalate. All right, I'll be back in a little bit with some more scriptures.
Shalom. All the praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to all you fellow laborers that are kicking this word in sincerity and in faith. The wadi yahawah bahasham yahawashi, kayahawah quadash, and shalom to all you sincere listeners. All right, so I want to go into a lesson on the civil unrest, which is all throughout the world. And I got this video queued up. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to concentrate on what's in the background. And you see German farmers block Hamburg, Chinese soldiers enter Hong Kong, protests grip major Iran cities over gas prices, so on and so forth. And it says civil unrest is now the new normal out there, which is true, because what we're in the midst of is a worldwide revolution. Now, you got mainstream news, they're not really framing it as such, but this is what's happening. And this is all according to biblical prophecy. And there's even insurrections, uprisings, which aren't on this list. And I'm going to pull up a few, because again, this is a worldwide thing. Czech anti-government protesters mark anniversary of revolution. So this is over here in Prague, which is the capital of the Czech Republic. At least 200,000 people have protested against the Czech government in the capital, Prague. You see? And this is on the commemoration of the Velvet Revolution, which that led to the end of communist rule, because Czechoslovakia used to be a former Soviet republic. Same as, Georgia. The U.S. and EU backed Georgia protesters after thousands rally outside Parliament. The U.S. and European Union expressed solidarity Monday with Georgia's anti-government protesters who took to the streets after the ruling party backtracked on promises of electoral reforms. In the biggest anti-government protest in years, more than 20,000 demonstrators rallied on Sunday outside the Parliament building in the capital, Tbilisi, urging the government to resign and calling for new legislative elections. So you can add these two to the list as well. All right, and this is the spirit of the world right now. Why? Because the wicked are ruling, so the people are mourning. And this is all according to prophecy. It's the book of Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. Right, and that's what we hear of. We hear of civil wars and commotions. All right, uproars of the people. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. That's right. So these are prerequisites for the Lord Yahawashi coming back, or in aiding in the destruction of this place and delivering the remnant. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, we're seeing a lot more just internal strife, and then what's going to happen is going to spread more externally. All right, because these different nations, which we do see it, just not on the level that it's about to reach, because we see Israel, they're always in something with Lebanon. All right, the Palestinians. Okay, you got skirmishes between the Elamites and the Moabites. I mean, India and the Chinese, they're having little skirmishes, border wars. But in particular, more so, India and Pakistan, they're having little skirmishes, but it's not full out. It's about to get there. And what's happening first is the internal strife within the nation, because there's pretty much civil wars everywhere, or the beginning of a civil war, including here, because these impeachments, which Trump has even stated such, Trump even said that, hey, look, if he gets impeached, there's going to be a civil war. You had an umpire for the MLB, the Major League Baseball. He said that he was going to get his guns, man, because he was anticipating what? Civil war, because of Trump being ousted. And this is what happens. This is what happens when the wicked bear fruit. And this would happen aforetime. Because what does it say? And the Spirit had me bring this scripture out earlier in the lesson I did, to Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. That's right. There's no new thing under the sun. Because there was uprisings in the ancient Roman Empire. And now there's uprisings in the modern Roman Empire. Because this place, Babylon, is reigning over all the earth. This is Revelation 17 and 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's right. That woman is what? America. When you read up, which I'm not going to go all into it. But the point is that what? The woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Just like the seat of the ancient Roman Empire was Rome, the seat of the modern Roman Empire is America, reigning over what? The kings of the earth. So that was the seat, and this is the ancient Rome, and this is the modern seat of the revitalized Roman Empire. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And just like back in the ancient Roman Empire, there was all types of uprisings. And this is what Gamaliel was referring to. This is the book of Acts 5 and 34. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space, and said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what you intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Now I pulled up some things concerning Theudas. He was a Jewish, he was an Israelite, rebel of the 1st century AD. Scholars attribute to his name a Greek etymology possibly meant as flowing with water, although with a Hellenist-styled ending. At some point between 44 and 46 AD, Theudas led his followers in a short-lived revolt. And they're referencing the Josephus. Hold on. It came to pass, while Cuspius Fadus was procurator of Judea, that a certain charlatan, whose name was Theudas, persuaded a great part of the people to take their effects with them and follow him to the Jordan River, for he told them he was a prophet, and that he would by his own command divide the river and afford them an easy passage over it. Many were deluded by his words. However, Fadus did not permit them to make any advantage of his wild attempt, but sent a troop of horsemen out against them. After falling upon them unexpectedly, they slew many of them and took many of them alive. They also took Theudas alive, cut off his head, and carried it to Jerusalem. You see, so even back then, and this is amongst our people, there was uprisings against the Roman Empire. Verse 37, after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. And that's what's happening. People are getting taxed. Like you look at what's going on in Iran, people are getting taxed to hell and back, getting fuel taxes. And so they're really turning up out there. And best believe the CIA, they're over there stirring shit up. Excuse my language. And the pressure is being applied to them because of what? All the different sanctions which America has on them. In America, man, there's something else. If you're another country, it ain't just okay, nobody in America can deal with Iran. If anybody that deal with Iran, you'll end up getting sanctioned. So the Iranians, man, they're in a hard place, and that's the whole point of them sanctions. The whole point of them sanctions is to have the people get all disenchanted, or to have them fall deeper into poverty. So then what? They go out into the streets, and then through a popular uprising, the government is forced to step down. And then what's going to happen? Esau installs some puppet. All right, some American bred puppet, American educated, American influenced puppet. You see? After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. I'm going to read a little bit about him. All right, Judas of Galilee, or Judas of Gamala, was a Jewish leader. When it says Jewish in this context, it's really talking about actual Israelites. Was a Jewish leader, or Israelite leader, who led resistance to the census imposed for Roman tax purposes by Quirinius in Judea province around 6 AD. Yeah, and that's the whole point of a census. Like they're getting ready to do a census now for 2020. The whole point is for what? For taxation. He encouraged Jews not to register, and those that did had their houses burnt and their cattle stolen by his followers. Yeah, so he was on some other type shit, you know. I'm gonna jump down a little bit. Josephus does not relate the death of Judas, although he does report that Judas's sons James and Simon were executed by Procurator Tiberius Julius Alexander in about 46 AD. He also reports that Menahem ben Judah, one of the early leaders of the Jewish revolt in 66 AD, was Judas's son, but some scholars doubt this. Menahem may have been Judas's grandson, however. Menahem's cousin, Alazar ben Yair, then escaped to the fortress of Masada, where he became a leader of the last doomed defenders against the Roman Empire. Yeah, because what happened at Masada, our people got starved out. Alright. So yeah, man, everything that's happening, it happened before. It's just on a wider scale right now. But as for what we're doing, let me read on. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it. Lest haply, which you look up that word haply, it means without intent. Lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High. That's right. So this counsel is going to remain. Now there's going to be a lot more bloodshed amongst these different uprisings. And ultimately they're going to fail, but this is going to endure forever. Alright, so I just wanted to touch on that. I pray that the lesson was edifying, and shalom.
So, as it should be heavily emphasized, that at the same time that Damascus is taken away, at the same time all these nations are going to come against Babylon and burn her with fire. And you can see so, just by reading this. So I'm just going to read out of Isaiah chapter 17. This is another way I can do this because of the fact that, it just might be me in the car because, pretty much the place that I'll be staying at, they're not in this faith like I am. So you just got to find other places until you can get a home settlement, because into refuge we are. In many ways, we've been refugees anyways, but it's time to gird up our loins. We're in a fight, and, like everything else, though, this was never our rest to begin with. So we've been pretty much refugees the entire time anyways. Alright, Isaiah chapter 17, and it reads, The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall become a ruinous heap. And you can see that, though, that eventually, whoever fires their missiles upon Damascus to destroy it utterly, well, that's going to reflect it, and at that same hour, because it says in Jeremiah 49 that all the men of war shall be cut off. And the only way that they can be cut off is by nuclear destruction. The cities of Aurora are taken, they shall be for flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress shall also cease from Ephraim. Now, I've always read this, okay, Ephraim's another term for the northern kingdom, but this can also be representative of Yasharalla, the entire nation, aka Jerusalem, because let's face it, though, that I believe this has to do with the famine. This has to do with a lot of things. The fact that, prophets won't be out there. So the fortress shall cease also from Ephraim, as it says, So the fortress shall cease from the Israelites. I mean, let's face it, though, that we won't be around either, though. It doesn't mean that all of us are dead. It just means that we're not around anymore. Us being able to go out there and teach and all that, that won't be around anymore. Is the way I see that, and I think that's a good, interpretation. And the kingdom from Damascus and the remnant of Syria shall be as the glory of the children of Yasharalla, saith the Most High of Hosts. So again, that pretty much, we're getting close to this prophecy being fulfilled, and this would definitely be after the mark of the beast has been made mandatory. So, we won't be out there anymore because we're going to resist that mark unto death. And it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wax lean. Again, it's just talking about how, 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed pretty much. And it shall be as when the harvestman gathereth the corn and reapeth the ears with his arm, and it shall be that gathereth ears in the valley of Ephraim. Yet gleaning grapes shall be left in it. So not all of Yasharalla is going to be completely destroyed, though it does tell us that the fortress ceases from Ephraim, but not all of Yasharalla is going to be destroyed. 2 or 3 berries of the uttermost part, bow, 4 or 5 in the uttermost fruit for branches thereof, saith the Most High, Yahawah of Yasharalla. And in that day shall man look to his Maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Yasharalla, because they'll know that it's the Most High. So I hope all these things are edifying. Like I said, just getting used to the newer format, because eventually Daily Motion, that's where we'll be. And so for that, I want to say, barak the yahawah, barak the yahawashi, bahasham quadash, wa abba babal, barak atham, the hopeful elect. And still, Apostle Tahar has not told us to not do 2 or 3 videos a week, 10 minutes or more, so I'm going to stay true to that as well. Shalom.
Shalom. I'm going to be real quick with this, giving all praise to Yahweh, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, quadash. What can I title this? What title can I give to this video? The title would be, are these 2 kids Edomites? Look at them real good. Look at a picture of them, and then you're going to look at a picture of their father, their biological father. And let me read the caption here. And this is over this madness of you can only be an Israelite if you look so-called black. If you got the woolly hair and a certain brown complexion. But if you look like a white boy, I don't give a damn what your father is. You're a white boy. We go by what you look at, and that's a carnal-minded person. And I'm doing this video off of this Konaf guy. He disappeared for a number of years. He kind of comes back, does 3 videos, disappeared for another couple of years, come back, and he changed the whole. Well, he came up under men that were part of One West, and he was kind of tight with Zabak and them, and then he was kind of down with Barak and them of the HODC. Then when there was certain debates, and he'd come up there, he'd hop on a bus or drive up here, or however he gets up here, and he wanted to be in the limelight, then he just does a disappearing act. Anyway, it was well known out of One West that you're gonna have people that's gonna look like Edomites. That's actually Israelites. Now you might, with your eyes, the scriptures speak about judge not the outward appearance. You gotta judge the spirit. So a guy look like an Edomite, but he tells you that his father's light skinned Jake or Gadite or something like that, and his mother's an Edomite, blonde hair, blue eyes. He's gonna most likely come out looking like an Edomite. It tells you in Jeremiah, I believe that's 12:9, we are like unto a speckled bird. As a matter of fact, let me get that. And by the way, this is the sifting period. These guys that came in, you see how many guys are being pushed out. The Nazi from the formerly, he was part of GMS Chicago. He broke off way back in 2014, 2015, and based upon Dan. Well, Dan is supposed to be on the whatever he said. I forget the whole. But anyway, well, we said, look, well, you can't be in this thing unless you come back to unless you get reconciled, you get your mind right, because we're the leadership. We teach. All of a sudden now you're a teacher, and then eventually he changed up pretty much damn near everything. He said that there's another thing out. The missiles. I was watching a video of these Jakes. They were saying, look, there ain't no such thing as the missiles in the scriptures. The Most High don't need no missiles. What else do they teach? These people teach. Oh, the 12 tribes. We don't know who the 12 tribes are. But they're all black. All dark-skinned people. The Indians are not Israelites, and the people of Central and South America are not, and the Reubenites, the Seminoles, they're not Israelites. The only people that are Israelites that are people that look like John Shaft. Anyway, where did I say I was going to go? Oh, now remember. Anyway. This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah 12. And 9. It says, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble, all the beasts of the field come to devour. Let's look up the word heritage. Nachala, inheritance, heritage, property, portion. A portion, share, inheritance, portion. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go back to Jeremiah. Let's do it this way. I'm sorry. No. Let's get a couple more words out of this. Heritage means portion, the Most High's portion. Jacob has a lot of his inheritance. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. It means colored, speckled, variegated. Dyed stripes. So we're a bird of many, we're birds, let's say it that way, of many colors. You're going to have Israelites looking like so-called Jews, looking just like so-called Jews. Meaning over there in the land of Israel, you got so-called Jews over there that are actually Israelites. Remember, we left our seed all over the planet, man. We were scattered all over the planet. Now let's go to Revelation. Revelation. Revelation 7. Oh, and this guy Quadash said any of the so-called the other tribes outside the Negro tribes, as soon as they come into Israel, they like to use that word nigger. Well, guess what? They can use that word because they're niggers too, according to the white man. Spanish-speaking niggers, French-speaking niggers. We're in Revelation 7 chapter. Keep looking at these children, because I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you the full picture. Okay, this is Revelation 7 verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, if you go from the first verse down to the 8th verse, it reads about the 12,000 out of each tribe. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues. Now the Christians vocab would say that that's talking about the Gentiles, the other nations. No, it's talking about Israelites that were scattered through these different nations and picked up their ways, their cultures, and even married among those people. That went on in Israel. So you're going to have Israelites looking like, having children looking like other nations. It says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues. And that's not talking about other nations. It's talking about Israelites scattered in other nations, speaking their languages, thinking that they those nations. Stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our power, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Who is our power that sitteth upon the throne? The Most High. And he said, and unto the Lamb, which is yahawashi, two different persons. And all the angels stood around about the throne and about the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshiped the Most High, saying, so be it, amen. The word there, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our power forever and ever. So be it. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto them, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great tribulation, or Jacob's trouble, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So that basically, you can go to Isaiah 11 chapter. It speaks about the dispersed of Judah, the scattered of Israel being gathered back together from those various lands. Well, that's what that's talking about. You're going to have Israelites wearing white robes that's going to look like Moabites. It's going to look like Edomites. It's going to look like Elamites. It's going to look like Arabs. You know how many Arabs, Israelites, are living amongst Arabs speaking speaking Arabic, praying to Allah. Or out there in Syria, they always talk about Syria. There's a lot of Ephraimites out there in Syria that think that they're Arabs. Okay, let's go back to this image right there. Now you see the two little babies. You would say them are little Edomites. And you know how many people I know through the years? So there's somebody that lives not too far from me. He's a Simeonite, and he got with a Edomite woman, and all his children look like Edomites. But guess what? They're Simeonite. They don't look nothing like the father. And the father looks like a Simeonite, but the children look like straight up Edomites. So let me read this caption right here. It says, I've spent my whole life at the intersection of ethnicity and identity and sexuality, raised by my Ashkenazi Jewish mother without my black Baptist father, and with perhaps the most Jewish sounding name imaginable. I'm far too accustomed to people prying into my racial background and family structure. So you can see the guy, right? You can see the full picture. You can see he looked like he can pass for one of the Latin tribes. But his father is what's this? Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, they mistaken him. A lot of people mistake him to be, if he went to Italy, they'll start speaking Italian to him, because they'll think he's Italian. Well, actually, his father's super dark and his mother's an Edomite. Blake Griffith, or Griffin, however you say his name. His father is a Levite, black as tar, so to speak, and his mother is an Edomite. And he got with a Edomite woman, and they had a child, and that child looked straight up like an Edomite, man. So how you gonna say, well, nah, you can't come in, you an Edomite? You don't know that person's an Edomite. He might, if he looked like Edomite, you might question him on that. But if he says, look, I got a straight up my father on my father's side, my father's father, my father, my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, they were all so-called Jakes. As a matter of fact, my great-great-grandfather was a slave. But they might have married, the grandfather might have married an Edomite. The father might have came out looking light-skinned, and he might have got with an Edomite woman. And then out popped this individual, and he looked just like an Edomite. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, and it's on to the next one.
Alright, shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, glory, and respect due to yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, bahasham, quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the hopeful elect pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Yasharalla with Great Millstone, Chicago. Salakia. Alright, I want to hop into a lesson going into faith. Alright, because as a camp, we're reading the book of Matthew this week, and I've noticed the word or faith. You know, faith is a heavy topic coming into this into the read of Matthew's. All right, and we gotta have faith in this truth. All right, we gotta have faith, for one, that the Heavenly Father is gonna take care of us. All right, etc. I'm just gonna hop right into it. So, Lucky, I'm a little sick right now. This is Matthew's 8:8. It says, the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. All right, so this was a man who came to yahawashi asking for his servant to be healed. All right, so he basically said, that he's not worthy for yahawashi to come into his house. All right, verse 9, for I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. When Yahawashi heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. All right, so basically this man, this centurion, all right, which is an Israelite, he had enough faith to tell Yahawashi, look, I don't need you to come to my crib. For one, I'm not worthy. All you have to do is say it, and it'll be done. And he had the faith that all Yahawashi had to do was basically just do it, all right, without having to come into his house, because he believed Yahawashi was able to kill his servant by his faith. All right, and his servant was healed. Okay, so this centurion had enough faith to tell Yahawashi, hey, look, I'm not worthy for you to come to my crib, just say it and it'll be done. All right. And Yahawashi said that his faith was great. Okay, because Yahawashi was doing a lot of miracles. All right, we got Matthew's 8:23. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him, and behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. All right, but the point here is, they were in fear for their lives, and he told them, ye of little faith. Okay, because even the disciples, they needed their faith to get built up. All right, he was building up their faith. All right, to the point where when Yahawashi departed, they were ready. Okay, so even when Peter walked on the water, he lost faith. That's why he started sinking. He got afraid. All right, because of the wind and the water and stuff was blowing. Okay, but here it is. They're with Yahawashi on this boat, and he did all these miracles. You would think that you'll be cool, like, man, we're here with Yahawashi, we're gonna be good. But we're in the flesh. They got afraid. All right, so he was building up their faith. All right. This is Matthew's 9:20. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I will be whole. Okay, so here it is. This woman, she had an issue of blood. And she had said in her mind, like, all I need to do is just touch a piece of his garment. That's all I got to do is touch his garment and I will be healed. Why? Because Yahawashi was going around performing miracles, making the blind see. He was curing the lepers, curing diseases, rebuking demons. So this lady, in her mind already had it set in her mind that all she had to do was touch his garment and she was going to be healed. All right, so she had the faith already. She had faith. Okay. Verse Salakia, verse 22. But Yahawashi turned about Salakia. But Yahawashi turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith had made thee whole. And the woman was made whole that from that hour. Okay, so he even told her, he's like, hey, that faith made you, healed you. Okay, so with that being said, we have to believe, hey, that no matter what, Yahawah bahasham, we got to have the faith that Yahawah bahasham yahawashi got us. Whether if we be sick, you know, or in need of something, hey, just have the faith that your Heavenly Father is going to take care of it for you. Okay. The Lord's Prayer, give us our daily bread, you know, don't lead us into evil, etc. That's having faith, believing that, hey, the Lord's going to provide for us and he's going to look out for us. Okay. So this woman had faith, all right, that all she had it set, all I got to do is touch his garment and I'm going to be straight. All right. This is Matthew 9:27. And when Yahawashi departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, Thou son of David, have mercy on us. Okay, so not only was Yahawashi called the Son of Man, he was called the Son of David. All right, because he was King Solomon coming back in the reincarnation. All right, and that's a whole nother topic. But he was called Son of David. Who was the son of David? Solomon. Okay. Have mercy on us, 28. And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him, and Yahawashi said unto them, Believe ye that I am able to do this? They said unto him, Yea, Lord. Okay. Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to thy faith be it unto you. All right, so he asked them, he's like, do you believe? Do you believe that I could do this? That I'll be able to bring sight back to you? And they told him, yes, we believe that you could do it. Okay, so these 2 blind men had faith that, hey, wherever Yahawashi is, we're gonna go to him and he's gonna make us see again. Okay, because it said that 2 blind men followed him, crying. So they were looking for him. They were like, Son of David, Son of David. They was looking for him because they believed, they had faith that, man, we need to get to him and he's gonna bring back our sight. Okay, verse 30. And their eyes were open, and Yahawashi strictly commanded them, saying, See that no man knoweth. Okay, so that's the point, you know. But he told them, according to thy faith according to your faith be it unto you. So he told him, he's like, hey, you know, this is what you believe, is gonna let it be so. So he by them having faith that he could do it, he brings sight back to them, to the 2 blind men. All right, but then it was all going off of them having faith that he was able to do it. All right, and this is the whole point of the lesson. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. Okay. For he that cometh to Yahweh power must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right, so it's impossible to please the Heavenly Father and the Son, all right, without having faith. Okay, and by having faith, you're gonna have works to go alongside with your faith. Okay. It says, all right, because we got to believe that he is. All right. Hey, Peter, Salakia. Yahawashi told Thomas, he was like, blessed are they who have not seen and believed. All right. Hey, so we haven't seen Yahawashi in this lifetime. You know, we haven't seen any real true miracles. All right. I mean, some brothers have seen miracles and stuff, but as far as you know, bringing sight to the blind, raising up the dead, you know, hey, we just have faith, okay, that hey, he can do these things, that they exist, they could do those things. All right, we believe that he is. We believe Yahawashi is as well, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right, so we believe that he's going to reward us for seeking after him, okay, on this side and in the kingdom. And it all goes through faith. All right, we got to believe in these things. If somebody doesn't believe in something, they're never gonna attempt to do whatever it is that they don't believe in. You know, the air blows. You don't see the air or the wind, but we believe it's there because we breathe it. You know, so your body naturally just breathes. But as far as the spirit realm, God, the Son, hey, we believe that everything written in these scriptures is true. We have faith that everything in these scriptures is true, and everything he said is going to come to pass. All right. So we got to have faith. All right. Some of us may have little faith. Hey, but like Yahawashi said, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you know, hey, that's the start, is a mustard seed, because that mustard seed grows, and it grows into a big tree. All right, and that's how faith starts off. It starts off little. All right, but you pray and the Heavenly Father increases your strength. I mean your faith. So with that, Yahweh willing, this was edifying. All right, till next time, Shalom.